not sleepless in Seattle, but the Mariners are still scoreless, and it's their own fault. They have had opportunities. In the very first inning, this is the guy you want at home plate. 2 men on, only 1 out. But Edgar Martinez not able to come through. He's their big guy. He's an RB guy. In the second inning, 2 guys on, a full count on David Bell, and he goes down swinging with Ichiro on the on-deck circle. And how about Edgar again? A man on second base, that being Ichiro, to lead off the 3rd inning. McLemore couldn't advance him. Boone couldn't drive him in. And once again, Edgar Martinez ending the inning.
So it is on to the bottom half of the 4th inning, and we'll see if the Seattle Mariners get their mojo going against Mike Mussina. Olerud, Cameron, and Stan Javier to bat this inning against the right-hander. And they need some of their famous caffeine to get that mojo cooking here. Mussina's allowed a total of 3 hits. He's walked a man, but there have been opportunities. In the 3rd inning, Ichiro leading off with an error by Williams reaching 3rd, and he couldn't bring him in. And it's a routine pop-up by Olerud. Brochu's taking it for out number 1. It's really on Mike Cameron.
Well, it's just so uncommon for the Mariners, the way they played all year, what they're doing now. Strikeout. 7 times they struck out yesterday. Twice they hit ground balls into double plays. Olerud was the first to do that in the 2nd inning. Cameron hit into a double play. I mean, they work the pitcher to get them out.
Cameron's flying to left. He's 0 for 1. He's had kind of a star-crossed game defensively. He has made a wonderful catch in center field, a high leaping grab up against the center field fence to rob Bernie Williams. He's also made a mental mistake, trying to sell the umpire on a sinking line drive that hit the ground first, but there was no sail on it. But here's the catch. What a brilliant play in the 3rd.
You know, with the exception of Andrew Jones, I don't know of anybody that's got more range than Cameron does. Andrew's kind of in a class on it by his own, but you know, if you stop and think, there's a guy that plays right next to him in right field. It wouldn't surprise me that Ichiro could have gotten to that ball too.
Some serious wheels. Mussina has been hit pretty well by Cameron. Mike 5 out of 13 against him. The Mariners have had some decent cuts against him tonight. Nothing to show for it. And that pitch hit him. Got him on the arm, so he will take a base.
There's a lot of this going on. We're seeing a lot of fastballs up and in. We asked Lou Piniella and Joe Torre if there was anything to that. We asked Piniella, did you think that Mariano Rivera was throwing at Brett Boone? He says, I don't know. He said, I didn't think so on the first one, but then the second one got my attention. Joe Torre says, well, I don't believe so, but you know, both of those guys played the game. They played it hard. And there's a lot at stake there.
Stan Javier the batter. During the regular season, Cameron did lead the Seattle Mariners, getting hit by 10 pitchers, so not a very high total.
Well, in the past, you didn't have to hit him because you could get him out.
Yeah.
He really had a breakthrough year offensively.
25 homers, 110 RBIs, and he can steal a base. Cranked to dead center field. Well hit. Williams back, turning around, and it's gone! Stan Javier hit 4 home runs all season, but he jumps on Mussina. Dead away to center, and the Mariners get back into the ball game.
You can't believe how hard this ball has to be hit to hit it out to that part of the ballpark. We've seen Bernie Williams hit one as far as he can to center. It didn't leave, but Stan Javier did. That's amazing. Javier, I mean, he's been with 9 different teams. He's been around. It's not because nobody wanted him. It's just the opposite. He does so many things, but what kept him from being an everyday player was the lack of power. Where did that come from?
So Lou Piniella's club down a run to Mussina. 416 feet for Stan. Looking like the man. His first postseason home run in 64 playoff at-bats. A pop into right. And O'Neill makes the grab for the second out. Well, Mussina doesn't give up too many. It's the first one he's allowed to Seattle this year.
Well, take a look at Posada sitting right down the middle. The book on Stan Javier is that he will take the first pitch. He works the count. Well, he fooled him here. Javier wanted it down the middle. He got it. Posada wanted it there. Mussina put it there. And we know where Javier ended up putting it, over that center field fence, well over 400 feet away.
David Bell 0 for 1. He struck out in the second inning. And Stan, 37 years old, 17 years in the big leagues. And he takes Mussina out of the ballpark at Safeco. Bell tried to check, but he went. 0-2.
This is going to be a great series for so many reasons. Seattle Mariners are probably the only team not afraid to go to New York and compete for a championship against them. They beat them 5 out of 6 times this year during the season in New York.
A one-run game here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Breaking ball trickled along third, but foul. Ichiro to bat next if the inning is still cooking.
But I still think, from what the very first thing we said in the pregame yesterday, it's going to come down to the bottom of the order. The defense is normally there. The starting pitching is there. Tremendous bullpen. Ichiro's going to touch home plate. Jeter's going to score. There's going to be home runs hit by the hearts of the lineup. But what happens with 6, 7, 8, and 9 will be the determining factor.
1 ball, 2 strikes. The Yankees have kept Bell quiet all season long, just 3 for 24 as the number 9 hitter. But the number 7 man made a lot of noise. Stan Javier. A 2-run homer to close the gap to 1.
They're going to have to change that scouting report on Javier.
Yeah.
Instead of he won't swing at the first pitch or doesn't, occasionally he will.
2-2.
I remember A-Rod telling me last year that it won't go to dead center field, particularly late in the year and on a night game when it's cool.
But clearly he does not own Stan Javier's power.
Yeah. What did he hit, 50 this week?
3 balls, 2 strikes.
These fans have got to be more physically tired than the players. That's all they're doing, up and down. High
Fly up around the roof. On comes Knobloch. Side retired. But Stan Javier cranks a 2-run homer to dead center field. Hey, you can hit it out at Safeco. At least Stan can. Pitcher Sterling Hitchcock getting in some of his October reading, apparently, Rick.
Well, he might be trying to find an eraser to change that report on Stan Javier. Javier got tired of watching that first pitch strike go by him. Not only did he swing at the first pitch off Mike Mussina here tonight, but yesterday when he pinch hit in the 9th inning, he did the same thing to Mariano Rivera.
5th inning, Soriano to lead things off against Garcia. Freddie Garcia finally with some run support. Didn't need a whole lot of it last year in the American League Championship Series. Facing essentially the same Yankee lineup. He went 2-0 against them with a 1.54 ERA. Into the better pitch games of that series. And immediately jumps in front of the youngster Soriano, who is 0 for 1 with a fly to center field. Well, you get the sense on a night like tonight why the Mariners won 57 games in this ballpark this year, how difficult it is. for opposing teams to come in, count on and miss. And that means 3 of the last 4 Yankee batters have gone back to the dugout, a strikeout victim courtesy of Garcia.
Just a tremendous sequence there to get Soriano. Look at the location on this breaking ball. He started him off with that slider for a strike. The second one wasn't a better slider. It was just in a better location on the outside corner. And the third one in even a better spot to an aggressive young hitter.
Knobloch has not been retired tonight. A pair of singles. The last one for an RBI. He's 5 for 7 in this series. So coming into the American League Championship Series, as again Garcia gets in front, the prevailing theme was Ichiro is the guy who's going to beat the New York Yankees. You got to keep him off base. Well, Chuck Knobloch has outdone the Japanese sensation out of the leadoff spot so far.
I really like the adjustment Garcia's making here. All right, the velocity on your fastball and the command is not there. You've got other weapons. How about the breaking ball? You see there's a fastball there from him. It's just not there. A 3 days rest may have been the reason. You know what? 238 innings during the regular season might be part of it. All they want to do is get him through maybe this inning, possibly one more.
Block stays away 2-1. Yeah, I got to believe Lou Piniella will be doing some backflips down in the dugout if he can get Garcia 6 innings tonight.
As important as this game is to the Mariners, the future of Freddie Garcia is even more important. You're going to take him out 1 inning too soon rather than leave him in there even 1 pitch too long.
Well, Piniella has a stacked bullpen, the #1 pen in the American League, fouled away by Knobloch. And now the crowd is going to rise up again and holler for a strikeout.
I think not only does Lou Piniella want to use that bullpen tonight, he'd like to use it with the lead, but he needs to use it. These teams traveling tonight, an off day tomorrow. Sasaki, Nelson, Rhodes did not pitch yesterday. They were off the day before that. They need some work. They need to break a sweat.
The rock in the 2-2. Left it low. Yeah, another cross-country flight coming up for the Yankees, and Derek Jeter, who is on deck.
More frequent flyer miles. They've got all they need for a while.
Knobloch on again for the 3rd time as Garcia let him off the hook. Well, this series, the Mariners are trying to tie up. The National League Championship Series is already dead even, and it's Curt Schilling on the mound in Atlanta for Game 3 in the National League Championship Series against John Burkett. That's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then join us for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern Time on Saturday from the Bronx. It'll be Jamie Moyer against El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. The Mariners trying to head on back to New York in a 1-1 tie. The Yankees have other plans. New York leading here 3-2 in the 5th inning. And with a man on for Jeter. Pops that up into shallow right. This one has a chance to fall, and it does. Knobloch moves up to second. Jeter with a little flare into the outfield has himself a base hit, his first hit of the series, and makes him 1 for 7. But the Yankees are building a threat with 1 down.
Well, there's been a saying for a long time in baseball that a lot of times a bloop is followed by a blast. Derek Jeter has hit some balls hard in this series, but nothing to show for it until this. And bloops don't get much better than that right there. Kind of surprised Knobloch did not get a better read on that ball. The first thing you do as a base runner is to check the outfielders. Where are they positioned? Well, Ichiro had a long ways to go to get to that ball. No chance to get there, yet Knobloch did not know that, or he would have been able to take off and gotten to third base with just 1 out instead of standing there on second. You see him checking the ball, and by the time you check it more than once, that's too long with an arm like Ichiro has.
Justice climbs in 0 for 1 with a base on balls tonight. Ball 1 to him. How about Ichiro, though, doing a little groundskeeping?
Well, he's done just about everything else for Seattle here. There's been a problem with that. Luke Piniella says there's a lot of moisture on the field this time of year. It's not from rain getting on the field. They've got a roof to cover it. It's just there.
So the turf kicks up a little bit. Ground ball softly. Boone with it. Shovels to McLemore 1. On to first. Double play. Inning over. Garcia gets the 4-6-3. He got Justice to hammer it into that moist turf on the infield. Right at Boone. McLemore with a great leaping play over the top of Derek Jeter to complete the double play. Well, Rick, up until this point in the series, the double play ball has really been a friend to the New York Yankees. Now Seattle gets a big one.
Look at the toughness, though, of Mark McLemore. He knows how important it is to complete that double play, and he didn't care how close Derek Jeter was to him.
A slicer down into the corner, but Knobloch covers the ground. And Ichiro is retired on 1 pitch on what could be a very big half inning for the Seattle Mariners. If momentum is indeed a tangible thing in baseball, it has just jumped into the dugout of the Seattle Mariners. 1 down with McLemore coming up.
And there's been some free agents that have jumped into that Mariner dugout the last couple of years, and their general manager, Pat Gillick, deserves a lot of credit for that. He had some money to spend. When the big unit left and Griffey Jr. left and A-Rod left, he had to fill those holes. He had money to do it, but he was perfect in that free agent market. Last year, Mark McLemore, as we look at him here, was one up. He was 6 for 6 going into last year. Aaron Seeley, Olerud, McLemore, Sasaki, Rhodes, and Stan Javier, who hit the 2-run homer earlier. Equally as perfect this year.
McLemore 0 for 2 tonight. The native of one of America's great military cities.
That man has to sleep good at night, knowing what he has done. This year, the 3 guys he brought in, a guy named Brett Boone, Jeff Nelson, and Ichiro.
McLemore out of San Diego, California. He has known many baseball protocols in his 14-year career. Wearing the uniform of the Angels, the Indians, the Astros, the Orioles, the Texas Rangers, and now Seattle. And the Mariner fans taking their shot at the departed.
Is that 51 million? 3 guys? A lot of teams that don't pay 25 players that much money. A lot of them. I mean, it really is almost unfair what the Yankees are able to do. A payroll of 143 million this year. Oakland's payroll, 47 million.
Into the dirt on McLemore, 2-2.
Mariners have gotten into the top 10 in payroll. This year they were 9th with a payroll of just over $85 million. Cleveland was 2nd with $105 million spent to the Yankees. They're home watching. Atlanta and Arizona 5th and 7th. They're still playing.
And of course, Safeco Field, the way they pack it in, over 40,000 every night, a real gold mine. Fly ball right center field, pretty well hit, but O'Neill says he has it. He calls off Williams to make the catch. Out number 2. So Mussina doing his part to suffocate the Seattle crowd, which was rocking and rolling after the double play in between innings. And of course, after the home run by Stan Javier to get them on the scoreboard.
I was talking with Gerald Perry about the swing of Brett Boone, and he said the fact that he's late on good fastballs, that's the result. The reason is his back arm. There's too much pressure there. He said he gets so strong with that back arm that it's almost like a grown man can stand on that. Look at his right arm. Look at him gripping. You see that top hand, how tight it got. Gerald Perry said I can almost stand on that arm as he holds it back when he's not swinging well.
And he pops up here. It's going to be a fast inning from Mussina. And Tino Martinez has it. Mussina's first perfect inning tonight, requiring just 8 pitches. Remember all those pitches he threw in innings 2 and 3. He needed an inning like that, and he also quiets the crowd. So it remains the Yankees 3, the Mariners 2, as we move on to the 6th inning at Safeco.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
The Yankees leading at 3-2. They got started in the second inning on Scott Brosius' two-run double. He later came around to score on a Chuck Knobloch base hit as well. But then back came Stan Javier of the Seattle Mariners. His two-run home in the fourth inning off Mussina. Cut it down to 1. And that's where we are right now, going to the seventh inning. 3-2, the New York Yankees in front. Dave O'Brien alongside Rick Sutcliffe. So happy you're joining us wherever you're watching around the world tonight. And with almost 50,000 jammed into Safeco Field, we're starting to move into the late stages. A pitching change will not be made as Garcia will continue on into the seventh inning. So he has gone even beyond what we thought, the 6th inning mark. And we'll see how this works out for Lou Piniella and the Seattle Mariners. Again, he's working on 3 days rest, but that's been the key for him tonight. That breaking ball he's been able to throw for strikes, although O'Neill thought it missed.
He's gotten his energy and been fueled by this crowd, getting excited every time he gets 2 strikes on a Yankee hitter. They're going into a frenzy trying to motivate this team to even the series.
Fouled off. O'Neill 1 for 2, and it's the bottom part of the order for the New York Yankees, in particular in game 1, that has really done it for them. In the first game, 5 hits. O'Neill and Brosius with hits. Brosius, the number 8 hitter, with a 2-run double tonight. That was the big one. Garcia has allowed 3 runs, all in the second inning. He's gone 4 scoreless innings since, and he knocks the bat right out of the hands of Paul O'Neill. That pitch did not hit him. It did not touch the bat. We've seen some of this gamesmanship in games 1 and 2.
Oh, it's nothing that Joe Torre or Lou Piniella didn't see in their playing career. This is the way the game of baseball used to be played. You pitch in, you move people off home plate so that you can get them out of the way. It happened a lot to that man in his career. But it's kind of a compliment to a hitter. You don't knock down bad hitters.
2-2 on O'Neill. Brosius next, and then Soriano.
There were a lot of guys in my career I told you don't have to worry about me hitting you. I've got a rule. I don't hit people that I know I can get out. There aren't many guys in that Yankee lineup or Mariner lineup, though, that wouldn't have been a candidate to knock down, because they're all terrific offensive players.
Fouled away again by O'Neill.
Yankees are starting to look for that breaking ball now. O'Neill was sitting on it there with the 2-2 count. Just did not get it in a location where he could do anything with it. Take a look at where Garcia puts it. Watch him. Look at him staying back. I got it. There it is. But it wasn't elevated enough where I could do anything with it.
Will O'Neill see the hammer here? 5 strikeouts all of the last 3 innings by Garcia. Lunging, he put it up the middle, but softly. A charging play for Boone, in plenty of time to get O'Neill 1 down.
The key to a good infielder is to have a good clock, to know when you have to hurry up and know when you can slow down. Red Boone knew to begin with on that high chopper. He had to hurry up. Take a look at it. When it's hit, he knows he's got to go. Come in and get it. Well, now that he's got it, he knows O'Neill's got a broken foot. So he takes a couple of more steps. He gets a good grip on the baseball. Look at it. All right, get a good grip. All right, I feel the seams. And now you hit the first baseman in the chest.
Now, Brett Boone knows he can play second base, a former Gold Glover. A few years ago, one day he heard someone on one of the sports networks say that he and Houston's Craig Biggio were the best second baseman in the National League, and Brett said, hey, nice of him to include Biggio. He's known to be a little cocky.
He likes to talk.
Yeah, he may talk more trash than anyone in baseball, but he can back it up.
Well, he knows a lot about the game. His grandfather played, his dad played, his brother Aaron is playing with Cincinnati now.
The 0-2 pitch to Brosius. has doubled in a pair of runs and struck out against Garcia.
Garcia needs to do something with his fastball. The Yankees have figured it out. They're laying off that breaking ball out of the strike zone. Just show him. He showed Paul O'Neill that fastball up and then showed him a good one. There it is.
On the corner, got him looking. Strikeout number 6 for Garcia.
Every now and then you need a little help from your friends, and Freddie Garcia got that help there from his catcher and good buddy Dan Wilson. When a catcher brings it back to the corner, as he does here, look at him catch it and just kind of lower it a little bit, get it back on the plate. The catcher's telling you that even he knew it was not on the plate, but close enough he could get the call.
Are you a little surprised on the 3 days rest Garcia is able to pitch this deep into the game this effectively?
I tell you what, I'm not surprised at anything he's done because I've been watching him now for 3 years. I remember in spring training the following year after the trade, the hitting coach for the Padres, Merv Retman, said Freddie Garcia was the best we saw all spring. I said, what do you mean, best Mariner? He said, no, the best pitcher in Arizona. Well, Randy Johnson was there. There was a lot of good ones. This is the crowd right now that has done this to him. Lou Piniella and pitching coach Brian Price asked him after the inning, you done that? Absolutely not. I want to go back out there. This is fun.
Well, he faced only 3 men in the 6th. Trying to face 3 here in the 7th. That just missed, said Wally Bell. There has been some Yankee complaining. A bit of a smirk there on Lou Piniella's face.
Well, you can't tell from either dugout whether the ball is on the plate or not. You can tell if it's high or low. Lou Piniella knew that ball was not high, but he didn't know if it was on the plate or not.
The 2-1 pitch drilled into left field, backing up Javier. He'll make the catch. Side retired. So Alfonso sent it for a ride, but it winds up a fast inning for Freddie Garcia. 1-2-3 go the Yankees. Alan Woodrow is about to sing God Bless America here at Safeco Field. The Yankees in the lead, 3-2. It's a 1-run game still. It's been that way since the 4th inning. The Yankees ahead 3-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Stan Javier will lead things off. He's the only man to get runs on the board tonight for Seattle.
He not only got them within 1 run of the New York Yankees here tonight, but he has gotten this crowd back into this ball game. And now it's up to him to try to get them equal to the Yankees tonight, maybe tie it up.
In game 1, Seattle 6 through 9 hitters took an over. They're doing much better here tonight thanks to Javier. Dan Wilson also with a base hit as the number 8 man. He's next. Some changes now. Spencer is in right, taking over for Paul O'Neill. With a stress fracture in the foot, he can only go about 6 innings, as we mentioned. And on the mound, Ramiro Mendoza taking over for Mike Mussina, who only goes 6 innings.
And that's what they were saying in the Mariners clubhouse. They wanted to see Mendoza tonight. That meant they got the starter out of there before they got to Stanton and Mariano Rivera.
So not a long effort by Mike Mussina. 6 innings. He gives up 2 runs, 4 hits. But he is in line for the victory if the Yankee bullpen holds this lead.
I talked to Joe Torre before the game. I asked him if Mendoza was available tonight, and he said, oh, sure. We got him up a lot, but he didn't throw a lot.
A strike to Javier right on the edge of the plate. 2-2. Mendoza, who hails from Panama, 29 years old. A bounding ball right at Tino Martinez for the first out. So 1 away here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Where can you see some of baseball's greatest plays of the week? How would you like to get some tips from the game's best players? Well, be sure to tune in to Baseball Max. Each week, Baseball Max brings you the excitement and drama of the game of baseball. And upcoming episodes recap the 2001 postseason. That includes the World Series. Baseball Max, check the TV listings in your country for times and channels. It's big in Hungary, from what I understand. Baseball Max, just a runaway hit in Hungary. The ratings are out of this world.
I'm hungry too. Oh, that wasn't what you said, was it?
No, not what I meant.
Well, the Mariners are hungry for another run.
Grounded to the hole and through for a base hit for Wilson, his second of the day. And he becomes the first Seattle base runner since Stan Javier's fourth-inning homer.
I have grown to become a big Dan Wilson fan, as have these people here in Seattle. That 265 average with 10 homers on the year does not tell the whole story. We've seen his throwing arm. We've seen his ability to block balls in the dirt. Another one of those guys that they're just intangibles that he does. He's part of the starting rotation first, part of the lineup second. His job is to get the starter deep into the ball game, and for the most part, he's done that all year.
Well, he caught the #1 pitching staff in the American League. A big part of it, a strike taken by David Bell, who has struck out and flying to left over 2.
That's a good strike taken right there, because that was a good sinking fastball at the knees. All you're going to do is hit that ball on the ground. Mendoza is trying to induce a ground ball double play here. Bell's job is to get a pitch he can elevate and keep it off the ground out of the infield. As they say, put a grass stain on it. One of them out there in front of Bernie Williams.
Fouled off, and David Bell is in the hole 0-2. Last year, Mendoza did not pitch in the league championship series. He was hurt. But he pitched in '98 against Cleveland and '99 against Boston. And he is not allowed a run in LCS play. Pitching here in the 7th inning with a 1-run lead. But Wilson on at first. 2 strikes on Bell. The breaking ball fouled off his own foot. So Bell still up.
It's so important for Mendoza to throw that first pitch for a strike. If he would have fallen behind in the count, I got a feeling the gambler, Lou Piniella, would have tried to make something happen. What do you got to lose? The bottom part of the lineup, you don't expect a lot of offense. He might have hit and run. He might have eventually put on the sacrifice, but Mendoza did get ahead, and now he's right where he wants to be with the count 0-2.
Again, Bell fighting on, gets a foul here. You think this place has been loud earlier tonight on a Stan Javier home run? Well, if Bell finds a way to reach and get that tying run down to second base, Ichiro is up next, and you may want to lend an ear to that. That bat just comes in pieces. Brocious with the ball, got him. Down to second moves Wilson. The bat splinters.
Something tells me that Lou Piniella is smiling. He's happy. Who cares about that bat? We'll get you another one. You got the tie and run in scoring position, and we've got the best hitter in the American League at hitting with runners in scoring position coming to home plate.
Ichiro Suzuki, who hit an eye-popping .445 with runners in scoring position.
They're not going to let him hit.
They're going to walk him with first base open. So the crowd airs out its collective lungs here in the direction of Mendoza and Joe Torre. They'll put on Ichiro. And Mark McLemore is up next. He'll be up there trying to tie it up. Although it also puts the go-ahead run on base. This intentional pass.
He's got as much speed as anybody in baseball. A gapper by McLemore could not only tie it, but maybe give Seattle the lead. But it's a chance you take, and I think it's the right move to make on the part of Joe Torre. This game always has been and always will be about players. If players perform, then as a manager you look good. If Mendoza can get McLemore out, Torre looks like a genius. If not, he's got some questions to answer after the game.
Well, more often than not, Joe Torre, since he took over the New York Yankees in 1996, has looked pretty good. We'll see how this move pays off. McLemore is 0 for 3. He's line to left, line to left, line to center. Everything's been in the air. 2 on. The breaking ball sinks in there for strike 1. of men in scoring position. The Mariners have been shut out in the first 2 games of the series. 0 for 9, including 0 for 5 in game 2. Wilson and Suzuki are on. 1 ball, 1 strike on McLemore.
They don't act like they're nervous, being Zimmer and Torrey and Stottlemyre, but I promise you they are.
Two and 1. McLemore just 3 out of 21 in the postseason. He has not been a Big Mac in the playoffs yet. Looking to take a bite out of Mendoza, and it's gone to 3 and 1.
Defensively here, Bernie Williams is taking a big chance. He is awful shallow in center field. His thoughts maybe on a base hit to throw out Dan Wilson at home plate. But by being that shallow, you can't cover the gaps like you need to. A ball gets by you, Ichiro will score easily. Knobloch's deep in left, Spencer's deep in right, but Bernie Williams about 15 feet shallower than he normally plays.
On the edge of the plate, barely there. 3 and 2. Mendoza made a pitcher's pitch, and the count is full.
Well, it's been a big strike zone tonight, but it's been a consistent one. That pitch has been called both ways. You as a hitter have to adjust to it.
Well, in the early part of this series, this just might be the at-bat, certainly for Lou Piniella and the Seattle Mariners. The runners will get a head start. He pulled it. Martinez with the stop, and that's all. Seattle denied again. Now 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Not too many big hits for the Mariners in games 1 and 2. They lead 2. The Yankees preserve their slim lead. We go to the 8th. 3-2 New York. Top of the 8th, 3-2. The New York Yankees still in front. Here's a look at the New York Yankee box score. Chuck Knobloch 2 out of 3. He has an RBIs, had an excellent series after 3 hits in game 1. 2 hits for Tino Martinez. He has scored a run. A big 2 RBI double by the number 8 hitter Scott Brocious. That came in the 2nd inning when the Yankees scored all 3 of their runs.
Everything offensively came in the 2nd inning as far as runs were concerned for the Yankees.
Ichiro has been on base 3 times, 1 with a hit, but he was just walked intentionally by Joe Torre moments ago in a move that really paid off for the Yankee manager.
You know, even if McLemore would have gotten a base hit, there's no question Joe Torre made the right move. Ichiro had 36 more hits than anybody in baseball this year. He led the majors in another category, that being with a .445 average with runners in scoring position.
So on the top of the 8th, it's Knobloch, Jeter, and Justice for the world champions. And Chuck Knobloch is having a wonderful series. 2 hits, an RBI, and a walk tonight. He has not been retired. And Garcia continues to pitch on into the 8th inning. He is, win or lose, showing what an ace he has evolved into for Lou Piniella.
Well, you know what he's also showing, that even at less than 100%, Lou Piniella thinks he has a better chance of getting the Yankees out than one of his relievers who is 100%. That's how talented this young man is.
The 2-strike pitch to Knobloch is hammered into left field. Javier racing back with time to get there, and in front of the track, he hauled it in. Soriano ripped the line drive. It was caught by Javier to conclude the 7th inning, and that's how the 8th inning starts for the Yankees. You wonder if he's tiring at all, but through 7 1/3, he has scattered 7 hits with 6 strikeouts. And a lot of those outs, particularly after the 1st inning, came on good breaking pitches.
You know, it's not a lot different than the box score for Aaron Seeley yesterday, who was criticized. He can't win in the postseason. He can't beat the Yankees. Seeley pitched 6 innings, gave up 7 hits, and only allowed 3 runs.
and took the loss, falling to Andy Pettitte, who was better.
Not how you pitch, but when you pitch.
And who you pitch against. And if it happens to be the New York Yankees every October, your chances aren't too good. Jeter fouls it away. He's gone 1 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt.
Lou Piniella is such a character. He's so fun to talk to. Him talking about the Yankees having a good starting rotation. He said, well, they ought to. They spent a lot of money on it.
That's right. He said, hey, it's been worth it. He said, don't get me wrong. Lou became the first manager in history to lead his league or division from wire to wire with 2 different clubs. He also did it in 1990 with the Cincinnati Reds. He just happened to win the World Series that year over Oakland.
What a shocking upset that was. Beat that strong Oakland club. Even though they won 116 games this year, it'd be an upset to beat the world champion Yankees.
Garcia wanted that strike, didn't get it to count 3-1 on Jeter, but
might be his last pitch of the night. Arthur Rhodes has been up and throwing since this inning started. He's ready to go. There's a left-handed hitter in the on-deck circle.
And yet only one Yankee has made it past first base since the 2nd inning against Garcia. And Jeter is on. And here comes Lou Piniella.
Listen to the ovation for Freddie Garcia when he walks off this mound.
On 3 days rest, he pitches into the 8th inning. Down a run, but he pitched a wonderful ball game, allowing 7 hits. And the fans salute him here at Safeco.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in this ESPN program.
The Seattle Mariner manager will never be a candidate for Wallflower of the Year when he gets upset about something. There's nothing sweet about Lou, Rick Sutcliffe.
Well, he had a reason to be mad right here. When Joe Torre came out in motion to the bullpen, he is supposed, the umpire down the left field line is supposed to immediately tell Mariano Rivera to come in. From that point on, you've got 8 pitches on the mound to get ready. Rivera took at least 3 or 4 more in the bullpen. He's already been called in. And look at what he's doing here. And yet the umpire let it continue to happen. What should have happened there is they should have taken those pitches away from Rivera when he got on the mound. But they did not do it.
Even Cloninger, the bullpen coach, was telling him, you're done. It's time to get in the game.
He wasn't ready. He knew he needed more.
So here's John Olerud. Runner at first, 1 down. 3-2 Yankees in the bottom of the 8th.
Here's the guy that needs to get it going. Olerud lifetime has an on-base percentage of around 400. He is having trouble making left turns at first base. He's been taking that right turn too many times.
0 for 3 tonight, 0 for 6 in the series, John Olerud. But the tying run is on. Rivera taking a long time, and now time was granted to Olerud as he scampered out of that batter's box. It was granted by Wally Bell.
Well, right along with Piniella being right about Mariano Rivera taking too many pitches in the bullpen, he's also trying to fire his club up. They need a spark, and every now and then the manager can be the guy that gives it to that team, and that's what Piniella's doing. He's walking up and down that bench yelling at people.
Diving back in. And we've talked about the possibility of Roger Clemens not being able to go long in the series in his upcoming start because of the hamstring injury. Whether El Duque is completely healthy, that's a question as well. And it also is a question that centers on Mariano Rivera and that sore ankle of his. There's a bunt attempt by McLemore late in yesterday's game 1, and it looked like a pretty gingerly effort here by the pitcher, Rivera.
Well, Joe Torre said he's only one of 2 pitchers he's got on his staff that could have made that play. Mariano Rivera and also Mike Mussina, but you saw him testing that ankle, and he was not the same after that. Gave up the double to Ichiro, a couple of wild pitches to Brett Boone, allowed a run to score.
Gibson leading, not running, and that's in for a strike. Seattle led the majors in stolen bases with 174. They have not attempted a stolen base in this series. Got a lefty hitter up there. I remember Billy Martin, when he managed the Yankees, used to love to have a speed merchant at first base and a lefty hitter in the batter's box because it provided a great pick for the catcher. He could not see the base steal and what kind of lead he was getting. 0-2 on Olerud. The runner holds, and it's tapped to Martinez. He'll fire to second, and got him. Jeter holding the bag like a first baseman on a less than perfect throw by Tino, but it nails the runner Gibson. 2 down.
Greg Jeter did exactly what Tino Martinez does for him on a close play. He got fully extended. He got on the right side of the base, making it an easier throw. Made sure he kept his foot on the bag, knowing he's going to have a hard slide coming at him. But what a play by Tino Martinez right there. Not afraid to make a difference and take a chance on winning a ball game. There are a lot of first basemen that would have forgot about the throw and stepped on first.
Here's Cameron now with 2 down, but a runner still at first base and cannot move the man up into scoring territory. And another fine defensive play by Jeter in the clutch, which he has made his trademark in the playoffs.
He does it so much, you hardly even notice it anymore.
Well, Torre said the same thing. He said it's becoming routine. He made a pair of defensive plays in the division series against Oakland that you can bet Abner Doubleday, who shares Jeter's birthday of June 26th, never dreamed were possible.
I'm still surprised, as you were saying, that Gibson did not try running. He had the left-handed hitter there. You needed to do something to make a difference, and he didn't even try.
In for a called strike. Rivera dealing, and he's in front 1-2.
I mean, now you're at the point where, with the lack of speed with Olerud at first base, if Cameron doesn't hit the ball out of the park, you got to get 2 hits to score a run here. If you take a chance and you're fortunate to steal second, well, you had Olerud and Cameron who could have gotten 1 hit to tie this up.
Did he go? He did. Strike 3. Cameron is gone, and so on the Mariners. They came into the 8th inning with the 3, 4, and 5 hitters, but they wind up with 1 hit and 1 man stranded and nothing across the ditch. Still 3-2. We're going to the 9th in game 2 at Safeco. The Seattle Mariners didn't sweat much during their record 116 win regular season, but some beads of sweat are starting to form on that brow collectively. This Mariner club, they're down 3-2 going to the 9th inning, and the Yankees are closing in on taking a 2-0 lead in the series, heading back to New York. Another at bat coming for the Seattle faithful, but the Yankees hit here in the top of the 9th. Posada to lead it off. He has walked and struck out 2 times. First ball swinging, he pops it up, and that's a souvenir for somebody. 0-1.
Yankees 26 times have been the World Series champion, but not that long ago they were just 27 outs from being eliminated, and that was 3 times they were 27 outs away by Oakland. But when they won game 5, they just had that look of the Lion. And they have continued that look right on through this series.
Kind of a sleepy Lion, given all the travel and lack of decent sleep that the Yankees have been put through. But that only makes what they're doing here more remarkable.
You know, I played for Joe Torre in St. Louis when he was the manager of the Cardinals in 1994. And I remember his first speech, the first day of spring training. He said, "I'm tired of being home in October watching everybody else play." He hadn't been doing that for a while.
No, he sure hasn't. Not since taking over the reins of the Yankees in '96. Foul back out of play. And you remember, go back to when that managerial move was made. Buck Showalter replaced by Joe Torre, and there were a lot of New Yorkers at that time, the New York media in particular, which jumped on that decision and said, well, this is a guy who didn't win in St. Louis. He didn't win at a couple of other places. What makes anybody think coming to the Yankees, Joe Torre is the answer? How wrong were they? The 1-2 pitch, check swing, and it's in there for strike 3. Posada fans for the 3rd time tonight, 1 gone.
Just like when you look at the difference between wins and losses for a starting pitcher, you have to look at one-run decisions by managers. That's kind of determines the kind of year they had. Both of these guys have been terrific. Torrey's 30 and 18 in one-run decisions, and Lou Piniella, who's on his way to the mound now, 26 and 12 this year in those games.
Wants a right-hander here with Shane Spencer due up. That's all for Rhodes. So pitching change, and we'll be right back here in the 9th inning of Game 2 as Nelson comes out of the pen. Major League Baseball International's presentation of the 2001 American League Championship Series has been brought to you by MasterCard. There are some things in life that money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien from Safeco Field. Coming right down to the nub here. 3-2 the Yankees. They have out-hit Seattle 8-6. Stan Javier with a 2-run homer for the Mariners way back in the 4th inning. The only runs they've scored. That man, Freddie Garcia, put forth a heroic effort tonight for Seattle on 3 days rest. 7 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs. He's going to take the loss, though, if his teammates fail to rally. And on for Seattle, the big right-hander, Jeff Nelson, the owner of 4 World Series rings, all with the distinctive Yankee logo on them. He pitched for the Yankees between '96 and 2000. And now pitching for Seattle, trying to beat his old mates.
Yeah, they know him well, but that doesn't mean they can hit him. Look at that. 65 innings, only 30 hits allowed.
Facing Shane Spencer here. The count 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, bases empty.
This is the 7th consecutive year that Jeff Nelson has been in the postseason. 5 of those with New York, and in '95, a member of Seattle. Well, what a job he did in Game 5 against the Cleveland Indians, coming in to shut down their guys for a couple of innings, striking out Gonzalez.
Hit hard into the corner, and on a bounce, it'll be corralled by Javier. Rumbling into second base, a double for Spencer as the Yankees attempt to do what they did in the 9th inning yesterday, Game 1, when they tacked on a huge insurance run.
I thought that was supposed to be a defensive replacement Joe Torre put out there. Not only playing good defense, but providing some offense. Right-handed hitters just aren't supposed to have a chance against Jeff Nelson. That's more than a chance. That ball was hit with authority.
So a 2-bagger for Spencer. Scott Brocious has his own double and scored 2 runs in the 2nd inning. And he's batting again.
Last night, after Soriano had gotten a base hit and stolen second, 2 outs, Dave Justice with the base hit, providing a little bit more insurance for Mariano Rivera. And that run did come in handy.
Yeah, the Yankees would win it 4-2. The score, Brocious is trying to make it right here. The count 0-2 on him. He's just 2 out of 15 lifetime against Nelson.
I think that's kind of normal for most right-handed hitters against Jeff Nelson. Big, tall, imposing figure. You don't get to see him but once a month.
6'8", 235 pounds. I'd like to see you two on the low block. That's what I'd like to see. Down close to the basket.
Well, it's that low release point that he has that's so intimidating. He almost gets out there towards the shortstop. Very deceptive, very hard to pick up, and over the years his velocity has continued to improve. He's going harder now than he says he's ever thrown in his career.
Spencer leading off second base. 1 down. Pop foul. 9 hits for the Yankees. Seattle with 6. due up in the bottom of the ninth for the Mariners. Javier, Wilson, and Bell, the scheduled hitters. That's the man they're going to have to face. Javier against Rivera is 2 for 10. Wilson really scuffles with it. Bell only 3 at bats, has a hit. Again, they are scheduled to hit. We'll see if Piniella makes a move with any of them. The runner goes, and it's fouled away. So Joe Torre had a play on there. Spencer took off. Brocious knocked it out of play.
It's all about percentages for Joe Torre. He knows how difficult it is for a right-hander to get a hit off Jeff Nelson. So what does he do? Try to get into a position where I've got a man at third base and only 1 out, and I don't need a hit. All I need is somebody to put the ball in play, and I might extend this lead to 4-2. You know, he's just not afraid. He wants to make the difference. Most of the time they tell you that managers just aren't supposed to lose games for you. Joe Torre is not afraid to try to win one by outmanaging the other guy. He's got his hands full outmanaging Piniella, though.
One away as Nelson glances back at Spencer, not running this time, and it counts 2-2.
But even though he didn't run, he had an effect on that pitch. Nelson not even close to the strike zone with that fastball.
A 1-run game in the ninth. Pretty good cut there by Brocious, although he couldn't straighten it out. He has struck out his last 2 times up.
Well, what he straightened out is Jeff Nelson. Watch the slide step. Look, he didn't even pick up his leg. That's not very intimidating there. Very easy to pick up that baseball, and very fortunate for Nelson, that ball was not hit hard. Look at the location on that. Spencer's having a lot to do with these pitches Brocious is seeing the hit.
Nelson spinning around and continues to pay a lot of attention to that base runner, who doubled with 1 out here in the ninth.
Brett Boone is trying to hold Spencer close, but with him being that close to the bag, look at the room between him and first baseman John Olerud. Look at that.
A trickler along the third base line. It rolls foul, and Nelson keeps it that way. But yeah, gaping hole between the first baseman and second baseman. If Brocious can go that way and squeak one through, that's an easy run.
I mean, that's Shane Spencer out there at second base. He's not a burner. But Joe Torre is saying, hey, I want you to help. I know sitting back waiting on another base hit out of a right-handed hitter off Nelson is not a percentage play to make. I know you stealing a base is not a high percentage thing. But what the heck?
Dan Wilson, the Seattle catcher's had a great night behind the plate. He has caught 2 Yankees trying to steal. He got Knobloch in the 2nd inning. Tino Martinez in the 6th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Again, Nelson steps off the rubber. And Torre has put the idea in Nelson's head, and it is clearly keeping him off stride. The runner taking off again. Swung on and missed. Brocious is retired, but Spencer steals third without the throw. 2 down. Time now for our MasterCard priceless moment. We talked about Freddie Garcia and his 7 1/3 terrific innings. When he left the ball game, everybody in the ballpark at Safeco rose to salute that effort.
And that moment will be remembered for a long time, not only by Freddie Garcia, but by these wonderful fans here in Seattle, showing him how much they appreciate what he did for the team tonight.
right now he figures to take a loss. First pitch is strike to Soriano. It's gone 0 for 3. Spencer at third base after that theft. 2 down. Foul tipped it into the mid. 0-2. He overpowered Soriano on that pitch. Ball and 2 strikes. Soriano with a pair of hits in game 1. Nothing tonight. The Mariners trying to strike out the side in the 9th and keep it a 1-run contest.
This kid is special. Fuck that swing on that breaking ball that fools everybody else. Hans Zimmer said he's just not afraid. In fact, he almost laughs. He said when Joe Torre puts on the get a jump sign when he's at first base or second base, that doesn't mean get a jump to him. He's off and running. He's not waiting for anything. He's not afraid to take a swing here off Jeff Nelson.
The big righty fires it in, and it's fouled off again. But the Yankees just have that penchant in recent years for developing special kids. Go back to Derek Jeter winning Rookie of the Year. And the player that he has developed into really a young DiMaggio in so many ways. And the true heart and soul of Joe Torre's club. Soriano right there on the edge of stardom. Nelson will step off. Little blooper. That's falling. It's falling, but a catch made by Suzuki. A terrific sliding stab by Ichiro. He saves a run, and a giant run indeed. Nelson holds. The Yankees strand a man at third base. But New York has the lead. We'll move on to the bottom of the 9th inning. Ichiro flashing some leather. Will it be enough? The Yankees 3, Seattle 2. Well, it has been a night of missed chances so far for the Seattle Mariners, and if they go to New York down 2-0, they have only their inability to hit with runners in scoring position to blame. Going back really to game 1, they have gone 0 for 10 with men in scoring position. In the second inning, a big strikeout there by Mike Mussina. And in inning number 3, Edgar Martinez with an RBI opportunity, flying out gently to Bernie Williams. And as late as the 7th inning, McLemore with a man in scoring position grounds out to the first baseman, Tino Martinez. The Yankees clamping down on Seattle throughout the series in clutch spots. So it is 3-2. The Yankee lead in the 9th inning. Stan Javier, who has driven in the only 2 runs of the night for the Mariners, batting from the left side. He has gone 1 for 2 and facing Mariano Rivera. In for a strike, and it's 1-1.
I think the biggest thing the Yankees have done tonight is keeping Ichiro from making a difference offensively. He had to lead off each of the first 3 at-bats that he had here tonight. He had an opportunity to hit with a runner in scoring position in his 4th at-bat, but Joe Torre elected to intentionally walk him.
Javier, did he hold up? That's a strike. He went around. John Shulock brings him up 1-2.
The whole key for the Mariners here in game 2 is to get somebody on base against Mariano Rivera and finally give Ichiro an opportunity to do some damage offensively.
And good luck. Rivera owns the major league record for postseason saves, 7 of them in the World Series. Strike 3 called. 1 down. The leadoff man will not reach against Mariano Rivera.
82% of the time this year, Mariano Rivera retired the leadoff hitter that he faced. That just makes the inning so much easier to go about.
17 of 22 career postseason saves for more than 1 inning. He came on in the 8th with 1 down. And now working in the 9th with 2 outs to get. He's going to face a pinch hitter in Al Martin. So left-hand bat up there for Lou Piniella. This will be his first ALCS at bat. That's a fair ball. Picked up by Posada, and Martin is out on 1 pitch. Barely nudged it out in front of the plate. 2 are out in the 9th. National League Championship Series goes to Game 3 tomorrow. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Atlanta Braves are tied up at 1 game apiece. It'll be Schilling against Burkett from Ted Turner Field in Atlanta. That's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And in Game 3 of this series, the American League Championship Series, that'll be in New York City. Jamie Moyer against El Duque on Saturday.
Jamie Moyer came up huge in that divisional series against Cleveland. He needs to do it again for the Mariners against the Yankees.
David Bell steps in. Hitless tonight. He is 0 for 3. He is all that stands in the way of the Yankees going back to the Bronx with a 2-0 lead in this best of 7. Lou Piniella's ball club, the top home team in Major League Baseball with 57 wins here. On the verge of dropping 2 home games to the Yankees. Seattle did not lose more than 2 in a row until late September. The longest losing skid was 4 straight. But 1 strike away from falling to the Yankees in the first 2 games. Up high, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think Derek Jeter puts it the best. He says when Mariano Rivera comes into a ball game, it's over. And for the most part, he is right. You got to make a play behind him every now and then, but what a player this has been for the Yankees.
And apparently not over yet. 2-2. Many thought it would end in the first round of the 2001 playoffs against the Oakland A's. The upstarts from the West won over 100 games and put up a great pitching staff, a terrific young staff against Joe Torre's team. But the Yankees came back and shocked them. Swung on and missed strike 3, and the ball game is over. And the Yankees go back to New York with a 2-0 lead in the American League Championship Series. And it is deathly silent here in Seattle. The Yankees win games 1 and 2, and they do it on pitching. Rivera retiring all 5 batters that he faced on a total of 17 pitches. He overwhelmed the Mariners.
Well, you knew the bullpens were going to be solid during this series. The whole key is for your starting pitcher to outperform theirs, and that's what's happened for the Yankees in Game 1 and Game 2. Pettit pitched better than Seeley, and Mussina outdueled Freddie Garcia tonight.
Mussina gets the win. Garcia the tough luck loser, and Rivera picks up his 2nd save. So for Joe Torre and the Yankees, it's time to get back on the plane and yet another cross-country flight. But it's going to be a fun flight as they lead the series 2-0. The final score here tonight in Game 2, the Yankees 3 and the Mariners 2. A look at our Pepsi play of the game now as Rivera walks off all smiles.
For really the unlikeliest hero of all for the New York Yankees, but he was the hero tonight. It's Scott Brocious. He hits a fastball down the line. That started the scoring. That drove in 2 runs. And then eventually he came around to score a run that inning. And that is the difference here tonight.
And now, Rick, we're going to find out just how special this Seattle Mariners club is, because they are going to try to do what the Yankees just did, win a series after losing the first 2 games at home.
Well, the first thing they're going to have to do is play better defensively. Even though they were not charged with an error tonight, there were some mistakes that were made, and they've got to eliminate those, because the New York Yankees can be beaten but they're not going to beat themselves, and the Mariners are doing that.
The Yankees have the lead in the series, 2-0. Final score tonight from Seattle, the Yankees 3, the Mariners 2. And for Rick Sutcliffe, I'm Dave O'Brien. And for our entire Major League Baseball International crew here in Seattle, thanks so much for joining us. To our worldwide audience, continue to join us for Game 3 of the ALCS coming up on Saturday at Yankee Stadium. Once again, our final score, the Yankees 3, Seattle 2. Have a great evening, everybody, and thanks so much for being with us. Scott Brocious with the big hit in this one. Some sloppy defense in the outfield, certainly early on for Seattle. That cost them. Garcia turned in a heroic effort on 3 days rest, but it was not good enough. He was outpitched by Mike Mussina, despite the great catch by Cameron. So far, Ichiro has had a rather quiet series. He was on base 3 times. Reason that Joe Torre is smiling. The New York Yankees have kept the Japanese superstar at bay for the most part. So it is on to New York for game number 3. And you're bound to see more of that man, Mariano Rivera, who has been dominating. 2 saves in the first 2 games against Seattle. 116 wins during the regular year for the Mariners, but it means nothing come this time of the year against the Yankees. Thanks again for being with us. Have a great evening, everybody.